Okay, well, I'm here with Aaron McGowan today, owner of Digital Convergence. And Aaron's company primarily focuses on large organizations using Drupal, and a lot of the work is around migrations. Now, Aaron, I've been hearing a ton of talk in a lot of the larger IT departments. There's a lot of concern, a lot of shuffling around, trying to figure out how to do their migration. And for some of these companies, they're going from 6 to 8, others are going from 7 to 8.
Yeah.
And then we know that Drupal 9 is around the corner sometime in June. So maybe, can you talk a little bit about some of the key issues that are coming up?
Yeah, so the three main key issues that we are seeing is general timing and whether or not internally they've determined when's a good time. With Drupal 9, as you indicated, just around the corner, they are trying to determine when they should be migrating to Drupal 9 or upgrading their versions. The second main area is change management internally for them, or for their vendor and their platforms. A lot of organizations who are stuck in that legacy versions, they don't necessarily understand how much of a change that jump is. So it also opens up the door for them to begin to evaluate their feature sets and some of their integrations a little bit further with the enhancements and the new code base in Drupal 8. It opens up the door for a lot more. And then the third big issue is really just understanding what the benefits are. So whether that's the new caching platform to configuration management and so on.
Okay. Time-wise, what could a large organization expect for the process? Are we talking doing it over 1 quarter, or is this a 6 to 12 month integration?
Yeah, so we've seen anywhere from extremely agile projects only be 3 months, but upwards of 6 to 12 or 18 months is generally more acceptable if they're migrating a very large platform. The biggest thing that we recommend is just simply getting started and looking at that MVP set of features and content that needs to be migrated and starting with that, and then leveraging edge routing capabilities for directing people to the correct site based on requested URLs and so forth.
Okay. Now, you mentioned some companies are wondering, should they go to 8 or should they just wait until 9? What are maybe a few of the pros or cons if you're trying to decide that in your IT department?
I think the biggest thing is just that they need to get started with Drupal 8. Going to Drupal 9 and waiting is not going to add much benefit, except for simply slowing them down if they need to adapt internally first. Drupal 9 implementation is being done currently within the Drupal 8 code base. So it's not a major code base rewrite or anything of that nature. So when they look at doing that migration and upgrading from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9, it should be a very seamless process for them.
Okay. Aaron, a lot of people would be following you on LinkedIn and seeing what your organization is doing, some of your recommendations. Could you give us a couple of top recommendations that you would give to an IT department about the migration?
Yeah. I think the biggest one is choosing a vendor who is experienced in doing the migrations and wanting to build that long-term partnership with them. The second one is really truly evaluating what they have in their older versions, whether that's Drupal 6 or Drupal 7, what needs to be migrated, what does not need to be migrated, and completing that audit from start to finish, and then simply just getting started is the big one.
Okay. Now, someone in your LinkedIn audience or some of the groups that follow you, if they want to reach out with a few questions, what's the simplest way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, if we're on LinkedIn, the easiest way is just to message me through LinkedIn with InMail or a direct message. That would be the quickest and easiest.
Well, that's wonderful. All right, well, we know a little bit more about Drupal today and some of the things that we need to think about as a larger organization. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And Aaron, thank you again for...
Yes, thank you very much.